Good day everyone, thank you for coming to the channel. Today I would like to showcase my second Whirlwind Barbarian, and that's a dual Grief Colossus Blade Barbarian. It's really fun, I love the graphics, I love the look, and the damage is really high as well. So just like with any other tunes, like this build is able to really, handle business well, and has speed and with dignity and destruction that it deserves. So without further ado, let me show you my items, my talents, and the whole shebang. So for my weapon, I'm using Grief Colossus Blade, and the main thing that you need to worry about is the speed. It needs to be minimum 39 on both Griefs. So Grief ranging on the increased attack speed as well as the damage, like getting a minimum 39 on both with high plus damage modifier would take you some rolls. And this one, I rolled it myself. I stopped here. I mean, 389 out of 440. It's like, okay, like I can live with that. But I wish I had rolled it on a plus 15 and a 3 attack rating base, which at the time I couldn't get. And then for my other set, yeah, I'm using another one. It's 40 and 393. So, you know, if you want to get perfect, if you can, sure. If you cannot, then, just try to roll as close as possible. Like I said, minimum speed 39. That's what you need. And then for my armor, I'm using a Enigma out of Arkham Plate. Yeah, I believe this was self-found. I had it just lying around, so I just made, Enigma out of it. I'm using it now. And you guys can choose any other armor base that you want, but just make sure to check the strength requirement and how the graphic looks. I think the graphic is a big part. I mentioned this in other videos as well, where like I wear certain armor types because the way it looks on a certain tune. So we can't transmog here, so this is what you gotta live with. But for my helm, I'm using Arya with a 40 enhanced damage and a 9 strength drill. You could have gone with G-Face, but I just chose Arya on this one. Either way is completely fine, I think. But I wanted to see my all res, even with 30 all res from here, like I'm not maxed out, so that's why I kind of went with Arya. And then for the enemy, I'm using High Lords, Gore, non-up, I don't really care, Ravenfrost, and Steel Rend, 60-20. So 60 enhanced damage and then 20 to strength. Defense is on a high side too. It's near perfect, but it's not. And this is a good glove, I think. Not a lot of people use it. I mean, laying of the hands is definitely still useful, but for this build, I decided to use this glove. And for my belt, I'm using this set belt, which, as you can see, it provides me dual leech. So I figure like I handle dual leech off the belt, and then everything else I'm pretty open. And for my offhand, my usual setup with Barbarian, dual Hodo. And for the charms, instead of like skill and lifer, I have mixed attack, max damage, attack rating, life, and then this one was 14 max 60. This was like, yeah, self-rolled. So when I saw this and how the graphics matches, and I looked it up, 14 is the max you can get. So this definitely was on the higher end. So I was like, okay, I'll keep this. And then I'm using a max attack rating and then life, strength. And this is a larger charm version of the same thing. And finishing off. So I kind of play with the graphics around like this too. And here's my Annie and my Barbarian torch. And with my stats, I had to put enough to get to Enigma because 103 is too high to get, So I put in enough for Enigma, and I put in enough just to get 10k on my dex for attack rating. And then the rest, I went into bid. And even at this right now, I'm not maxed out. So maybe, you know, I could put, you know, laying on the hands here to change that. But, you know, for this one, like I said, I chose to stay this way because, you know, I don't have that G phase too. So that the crushing blow is kind of helpful. And then 60%, you know, just, I don't know, just 60% enhanced damage, you know, it just looks good. So, and then for my talents, it's pretty, it's identical to my other Whirlwind. So 1 point all the way down to here, because you're gonna max out Whirlwind anyways. So 1 point Berserk, you know, so all the way like this. And whatever your weapon selection may be, for this case, obviously mine's a sword. And you know, you could be using like Berserker Axe, right? So I think those kind of like options are still viable to you, and you know, however you want to play with it. And I have 1 point each, and as I level, I'm putting it to Iron Skin. And for the Warcry side, so 1 point all the way down to here, the max. So it's pretty typical in the sense that it's just like my other Whirlwind Barbarian. And for my Mercenary, yep, nothing else for me. And also I can teleport, so Mercenary control is just so nice, right? So teleport into a pack and Whirlwind around as he procs his, you know, Sacrifice, and just, you know, we go to town, right? So then, you know, Treachery. And again, like some people try to get like E-Bug, what was that armor type? I forgot all of a sudden. But you know, the highest defense, the one that goes like 40-65 on a, I believe, fort. Oh my god, like, yeah, the base armor name just escapes me right now all of a sudden. But yeah, that one, like, yeah, I don't want to get that one. Why? Because if your defense is high, then like, you know, it will kind of like go against your fate proc. So, you know, my understanding is having less defense is better for Treachery. But anyways, and then G phase with the increased attack speed and the minimum damage jewel on this one. This, yeah, I remember this. This was a self-found jewel, and I was like, hey, you know what? Screw it. I don't really care. So this is the current setup with my Mercenary, and I have a cow room here. So let me run that along with Diablo and Bale. So go ahead and buff up. So I'm sitting around like almost 6. Definitely nice. And as you guys know, the damage on the Grief doesn't show on the sheet. And that's one thing, you know, I'm really curious if the Resurrected will address. And I would love that they would address that. I mean, this Grief damage of the 400, like, okay, we know it applies. We know Grief is a good item. But in a way, it's still an estimate, in a sense that, like, you don't see the number. Like, what is the exact number? Ooh, Grand Chan. You know, I really want to know. Like, I think there's like a whole theory crafting and calculation on there, but not in that way. I just want to know from the game. It's like, hey, Blizzard, like, you're the game maker. You know all the numbers. You know all the stats. Just like, tell us like it is. Like, stop screwing around. You know, this is an old game. Okay, fine. Back then, you know, you guys didn't know. But now, like, you know, it's 2021. Like, I hope on the Reforge, you guys, like, you know, hopefully, like, kind of release these numbers more easily, so a common, like, peon player like myself wouldn't have to, like, Google stuff and look at some theory crafting and try to understand how this plus damage works in Grief, you know? But yeah, as you see, my killing speed is definitely not that damage number. If I were really hitting at 2000, I wouldn't be killing these cows this fast, even in a single player. So definitely the Grief damage is kicking in, but it's just kind of annoying. Like, we don't exactly know how much, you know. I would like to see, like, is it like 8k, you know, or is it like, I don't know, 10k? I mean, my Whirlwind, my first one that I showed you guys, one with the Ghost Spear, like, his numbers are damn clear, you know, you can see exactly. So in that sense, like, what am I looking at versus Grief? So yeah, I googled it. I found some stuff and articles and I read about it. I don't know, like, okay, fine, in the end it's applying, but like, you know, we don't know exactly. And based on the damage that I do, that, you know, I know, it's like, okay, like, it's working, but like, can't we just see it? So we'll see. So that's one thing. Like, I really hope, you know, Resurrected will bring, but I doubt it. I heard, you know, the team is moving on to Diablo 4 already. So they're finished with this. They're finished with the remaster. The company that they bought, I forgot the name, but you know, they did most of the remaster, and not just for Diablo, but also like Tony Hawk games and whatnot. Like, I heard they're moving to Diablo 4. So they're done with Diablo 2. They're not going to do any more development. They're not going to do any new content, which is unfortunate. I mean, but yeah, like I saw some of the graphics and some of the changes. Yeah, I am pretty stoked. It is like game-gasm, like orgasm, game-gasm. Yeah, it was pretty sick. Like I saw it, I was like, oh my god, like oh, like so. One thing I saw was the assassin trap, like how the lightning, so lightning sentry and you know death sentry is like okay, you know glowing and you know lightning firing, and then for the fire ones, I wake up Inferno, it was like a gun. They completely changed the graphics on that. I was like pretty surprised, and I was pretty happy too. It looked pretty nice. Like it looked more alive. You know, the whole experience felt more like, I don't know, more alive. That's the best way I can say. And you know how when the thing was like unsummoned, like it still left its residue. In a sense that like some of these gun parts like fell down on the ground and stayed there. So I thought that was pretty cute too. It's like okay, like more sense of realism in a way. But we'll see. You know, there's still a lot of questions. You know, a lot of people are arguing about other issues and concerns, like PvP, for example. From what I have seen, the argument is about the radius and the blocks, I guess. Basically, yeah, the game wasn't built for widescreen. So, ooh, another one. So if, like, if you're using the wider screen resolution, then you can see further out than like the range, the aggro range of the monsters. So that kind of brings in questions of certain things, and apparently on PvP, that's gonna be, you know, imbalanced. It's gonna cause some issues because you can target players outside the range, the normal range. So right now, like, you know, this, right? This is the box. That's the maximum. And if you're doing the like a really ultra wide screen, then it will go wider than this. So you can see wider. Hence, you could attack your enemies, or you know, click on them at least. You know, which is definitely in PvP is a huge advantage. So, you know, that's one thing I heard and I watched on YouTube. So we'll see, you know. There are a lot of other things that people are talking about. I'm excited for it too. I hope it comes ASAP. It says by end of the year, so, you know, hopefully middle of the year. But yeah, like, all my items and the time that I have spent on here would be, I guess, just time spent on here. And in order to maintain this, I need to log on to this account, or 5 of my accounts, every 90 days, just so that the characters don't disappear. So it's like, okay, sure, I'll do that, Blizzard. So yeah, I mean, you know, I guess that's what it's gonna be about. I mean, Diablo 2 Resurrected will be a completely new game, where the item bases will be saved on a completely new server. It won't be shared. So, yep, that's the little bum part. But of course, I mean, if I buy this game and if I can log on to these characters in the new game version right away, like on the first day, I think that's a problem too. And I mean, it's almost like, why play the game? Why buy the game almost, you know? Yeah, the graphic update and all that, but it's like, if I could access my Diablo 2 current accounts, my you know, maxed out characters or whatever, and you know, all these decked out tunes, and start enjoying the new graphics, I mean, I think that's, you know, that's kind of weird too. So it's understandable. So, you know, once again, I guess, you know, T2JSP or the informs the channels, you know. That's how it was back in the old days for me. Like when I used to play heavily, when the game was really alive, like I never used D2JSP. I have been using it in the past few months because the market is dead, because there's nobody on US West. But you know, before, like it was all done in the channels. And just go to the trade channel. Like now, trade channels are all dead. There's nobody there. But yeah, like back in the old days, you know, we just all went to the channels. Like people are always there, and you start like, you know, just paying attention to what people are saying, what people are selling, or what people are looking for, and you know, you start making deals. So ooh, wow, I have. Okay, that's trash. I'll pick up this one. So yeah, I guess it would be like that again, you know, like I would expect that population size would be, you know, good chunk, definitely in the beginning. A lot of people will be back, so that's something, you know, good to look forward to. You know what, one thing that is annoying with this is that you have to repair constantly. And one thing that I do to repair, which I mentioned before too, is to use an altar. Ooh, all trash. Okay. So right now, this one is 10 out of 50. So I have all these like old runes in here already. Yeah, I carry a bunch. So you know what, I'm just gonna carry one right now because this rune isn't that rare. I've seen it drop a lot during my runs. So if it drops, fine. If it doesn't drop, then the one that I have in the queue, you know, I'll just go ahead and use to fix my secondary weapon. But my primary is already sitting at 19 out of 50, so I should probably get that repaired too. But yeah, that's the I guess the only drawback, like having to repair. But you know, by using the runes, like you know, you should never pay, I think, any repair bills. I mean, if you are struggling with repair bills like that, I mean, you should go slap yourself. I don't think you should at all. Wait, is this 6 out of 50? Maybe when it's around like 3 or 1, 3, 2, yeah, that's what I should. Okay, usually on bosses, I just berserk, get kind of faster. Ooh. Okay, nothing good, I think. So yeah, overall, you know, I think it's pretty fast. Damage is nice, you know, it kind of melts through things, that's how I feel every time I play this character. And, you know, once my, you know, mercenary weapon procs, then that's like additional damage I do. Plus, you know, the enemies are slowed. So it's really, you know, beneficial in all ways. And obviously he's a might merc, so he's increasing my damage there too. But again, you know, with grief, you know, the numbers are kind of hidden, so it's a little bit frustrating there. But anyways, let me go ahead and do bail. But should I just repair? No, I can do a little more. Okay, let me kind of like go through these guys and let go. Because this is TC85 and things can drop. I have seen some stuff drop here before. And it's pretty good, I guess, density level too, you know. I guess in Warcraft 3, in Diablo 3, I mean, that's when people start talking more about density. And it's been more of a common phrase, but back in these days, like, we didn't talk about density. It was just like, oh my god, like, you know, these mobs are hard. Or at least when, you know, LoD first came out. It was fun. But yeah, like, I noticed, like, you know, these definitely TC85 areas tend to be more dense. And especially here. So, you know, I try to kill stuff. You know, also that's the fun part too. If you just rush to bail and kill him in like 3 minutes and just repeat that for like next 3 hours, like, I don't know how fun that is. So, ooh, anyways, yeah, maybe I should just go. Because these are kind of champion style guys. I wanted to try to kill them, but just gonna go. Let me just proceed. Ooh, let me suck on that. As in, let me leech their life and mana, because I wasn't full. Sorry, it's kind of sounded wrong. I didn't mean like that. But, yeah, let's see. Proc. Now their physical immunity is gone too. So I think that's why, like, you know, just the Reaper's Toll, just in so many ways for physical damage too. just highly recommend it. If not, the only other way that I could think of is Act 5 Merc with Lawbringer. Because Lawbringer has the... Okay, you're not going to repair that. Because Lawbringer has the Degrify effect. So, kind of same thing. Ooh, Superior Runic Talent. Ooh, Ethereal too. Damn. It's only 1 attack rating and no skill. Ooh, now, like my primary weapon needs repair. So again, see, this is a little bit of the annoying part. Like, just having to have that orc rune all the time. You gotta repair. But I guess that's better than, paying for, gold. So for me, like, a lot of people complain like, oh, they don't want to have like durability on their items. Yeah, like, sometimes I don't understand. Because for me, as you see, I repair using a rune. So if I have durability, that's better because that means the item will last longer. So it would be, much longer, that I would have to spend the rune to repair my item. Same thing goes for armor. Like chest armor, yeah, just if it has durability, oh, I would love it. Because I'll have, I'll use less runes to repair since I have more durability. Same thing on weapons. But anyways, that's my logic. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. Okay, let me just go on here. I was like killing these guys, I just kind of got into it a little. Because when I see a pack like that, like, I mean, how's it for you guys? Like, can you guys resist? I can't resist. But yeah, like that, like that little concentration. It's like, oh my god, like, I gotta go get him. I mean, that's the whole point of the game, right? You kill stuff. And that's the fun part. In Whirlwind, yeah. And this is also in a way nostalgic of sorry, I had a small interruption. And I picked up an old rune from my stash. And let me go ahead and continue here. That should be it. Let's see the first wave. It's pretty strong. I mean, I ran this in a full game as well. Yeah, no problem. I was killing stuff very smoothly. Okay. I guess one thing with these skellies, like, you don't leech off of them. So sometimes it's a little annoying. And if you don't leech, your mana just like goes down with the Whirlwind. It costs you 28 to, roll once. So yeah, it's pretty mana heavy. Okay. If you want more damage, like maybe you could fix your life around like 3k and dump the rest into strength instead. That's an option too. And on this one, I dumped some into dex as well, right, for attack rating. Ooh, ghost spear. No, it's not even ethereal, but let me just 4 sockets. I don't know what I could make out of 4 socket spear. Nothing good though, I think. Anyways, here's the last wave. Ooh, yeah, mana leech. Ooh, mana burner. Yeah. But look at it, right? Me and my tank mercenary, like, we're able to stand there. Yeah, his fate is on. So yeah, when his fate is on, yeah, he doesn't die easily. Here, let me see. Ooh, I only have 1. Okay, let me go ahead and repair that. And that's okay, that should be fine. Okay, here's Bale. Let me just do my... Ooh, see that? Yeah, he has a debuff. And my berserk is just going at it. Yeah, attack rating is, I guess, still, a little bit of a concern, but still, overall, not bad. Maybe I should have whirlwinded. Ooh, amulet. Oh, Warhammer? What is this? I don't think it's anything good. Okay. Let me go ahead and get some more tomes. let me go ahead and talk to Decker King. Nothing good. But anyways, that was my second Barbarian or Whirlwind Barbarian. And I have another, and he's a kind of unique one too. I would like to showcase him later down the road. But yeah, if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you very much.